Canadian government and business officials headed on a trade mission to Mexico this week, and they aren't coming home empty-handed. The Business Council of Canada signed a memorandum of understanding with its Mexican counterpart, agreeing to strengthen ties between the two business communities. All of this, of course, comes ahead of the high-stakes review of the Canada-US-Mexico Agreement on Trade set to take place later this year. Goldy Hyder is the President, Chief Executive Officer of the Business Council of Canada. He joins me now, fresh back from this trip to Mexico City, where you signed this MOU with your sort of counterpart there. What's in it, and what does it tell us about sort of where we are in this moment?
Well, look, I must say it was very gratifying. The Canadian business community that's investing in Mexico, that believed in not just the importance of the bilateral relationship, but the trilateral relationship, has been through it all. We went through the good times and the bad times, and it's hard to believe. I literally asked myself, am I in Mexico City with 700 Canadians, led by our government, and led by not only our federal government, but many provincial representatives, including the representative from Ontario. It was very important to see that, because what it is a signal that, you know, when you're going to diversify, you should start at home. And you already have not just one trading agreement with Mexico, but two trading agreements with Mexico in terms of the TPP as well. What we did with our counterparts was to say, look, we have to do more on the bilateral relationship, but co-investing in each other's countries, and not one-way flow. We must get, and you know, the Prime Minister is our #1 salesman out there doing exactly that around the world. Bring your investment dollars here into Canada, and also let's make sure we're helping Mexico with its energy, with its mining, with its infrastructure, with their own skills development and so forth. So a lot of complementary things there. Secondly, we made the case very clearly. Look, don't think this is just about the bilateral. The trilateral matters. We live with the United States of America. There's no country in the world that wouldn't want to change places with Canada or Mexico to have that added advantage that we do. We want to see that stabilize. And then finally, maintain this CO dialogue, because when you do that, good things come for the rest of the supply chain, as evidenced by 700 small and medium enterprises spending $3. I think there's many of them still back there going to a couple other cities as well.
We spoke with my colleague Jorge Barrera, who's our correspondent in Mexico City yesterday, and he had all those, you saw them, the headlines, you were on one of them, the headlines of all these newspapers there. It was more prominent news than, frankly, I had expected. What is the sense, what is your sense from the ground in Mexico of how prevalent, important, timely this relationship is?
Well, look, full credit where credit is due. Tone is set at the top. Prime Minister Carney and President Sheinbaum went out to ensure that they gave a solid foundation and support for the business community and others to realize that we're serious about this this time. This is long overdue, Peter. I mean, it makes no sense to have the proximity that we do to Mexico and somehow do 1.1% of our exports to that market. So that tone was set at the top. Then you were able to see the ministerial support, in this case led by Minister LeBlanc. Several others were there as well. And that dialogue and that conversation gives business hope, right? We look at their political leaders and say, okay, this time they appear to be serious. This time they see the value of that. And I think what we're trying to do is also say, how do we show that the trade works? There's so many people out there that feel like, oh, well, they're just fine without trade agreements. Careful what you wish for. A lot of our prosperity here in North America, a lot of the jobs, a lot of the innovation, a lot of the skills, a lot of the capital that's coming is coming because we offer them stability, predictability, and some confidence that there are some rules. Yes, they're being questioned. Yes, there are some things that are coloring outside the lines, but it's still important that we show that trade works.
In 2017 and 18, in the first Trump presidency, we very nearly lost Mexico to a bilat with the United States. There are still people in the Trump administration that would prefer one bilat with Mexico and one bilat with Canada rather than the USMCA. What is the importance of a meeting like this, at a time like this, before now Mexico's on their way back here, to really shore up, hey, let's approach this renewal process we're going to see in the summer as a united entity?
Well, far be it for me to question the premise of your question, but I do have a thing. There's a lot of being said, but we have to dissect that very carefully. Yes, there are people out there who are musing about, well, there's two bilaterals. What is clearly happening is different issues are being raised with Mexico because there are different issues in Mexico.
Sure.
Different issues are being raised with Canada because there are different issues with Canada. Canada and Mexico have issues with the United States that they're going to be raising in the part of this process. So these bilateral conversations and discussions, they're going to have to merge. We have to merge them in the USMCA review and renewal process. That starter's gun has either gone off, if you believe Secretary Berard, and set it off. I'd like our minister to be there as well. When it starts, Canada will be ready, Canada will negotiate, Canada will ensure that the issues that we have to speak on behalf of will be there. But these issues have to merge because we are actually in a trilateral agreement.
I want to pivot to something your organization has been lobbying for a long time, the defense investment strategy that dropped yesterday while you were out of the country. What does that strategy do to address the needs that you highlighted and your organization highlighted and the gaps that are in the system in this exact moment?
Well, look, we're delighted. This is another long time coming. Mexico is a long time coming. So is the defense industrial strategy. Canada is a country without an industrial policy. This is an important piece of it. Back in 2023, we'd put out a paper. You might see the material.
You brought a prop, everybody.
Well, because the title right there, Security and Prosperity. The case for a defense industrial base strategy was made several years ago. We're pleased to see that much of the recommendations and the work that my colleagues and our members had done to make the case that says, look, Canada can compete. Canada needs to compete. Canada can integrate where it needs to integrate with the United States for obvious reasons. But we also need to build capacity in our own country. This is about jobs. This is about high-paying jobs. This is about ensuring that we're not beholden to anyone for the things that we need for our own national security and our defense. And let's face it, our military deserves, if we're going to ask them to put their lives on the line for us, they deserve the very best of the equipment. And this is what this strategy is about.
Part of this strategy was also going to have to be about shoring up supply chains and our ability to move stuff around the country and get it out of the country. You and I have been talking about export capacity in this country for a very long time. When you look at the UK and the Canadian deal, all of these various trade deals that are coming to light, talking to Mexico, this investment strategy in defense, how much of it is contingent on making sure that we have the export capacity to actually ship this stuff to those countries?
A lot of it. A lot of it is contingent on capital, being able to form in our country, which means making Canada competitive on taxes, on regulations, on our labor, giving predictability and stability that a trade agreement offers. Many other countries that want to invest in Canada do want to have access to the G1. It would only make sense. We're only 40 million people. But look, Canadian companies, when it comes to services, have been wildly successful abroad for over 150 years.
You don't need a port to ship your services.
You don't need to, exactly. So whether you're in insurance, whether you're in financial services more broadly, whether you're in engineering, et cetera, we've done really well infrastructure. It's the hard asset. It's the potash. It's the uranium. It's the critical minerals. It's the oil, the gas. All of that stuff requires your arteries of trade to be expanding as the demand expands. One of the challenges, I think, here is a lot of good things have been done and are being said. What matters is not what is intention. What matters is the outcome. So the world will see either we can expand our port, build a pipeline, expand our railway, get access to the Ring of Fire. If we don't do those things, then we're actually standing in our own way. And I've often said that, the president has awoken us all, including our relationship with Mexico. Thank you for that. But the things that are standing in our own way, he's not responsible for. Interprovincial trade barriers, 13 securities regulators, uncompetitive when it comes to permitting timeframes and so forth. So we need to do better. And all of these good intentions, what will get measured ultimately is, did they do what they intended to do? And that only time will tell, Peter.
Just really quickly before I let you go, though, what is the timeline? Like, do we need to start seeing progress on right now?
Yeah, the time is right now. I mean, when you look back at the C5, which again, we had very much supported, it was great to see the opposition and the government work together on making that happen. But where are these national interest projects? How quickly can we get them off the ground? Let's see what happens with the MOU. The demand for our products is enormous. I'm heading out now with Prime Minister to India, to Australia, to Japan, and I've seen them in action. They're very good at making the case about bring your capital here. But the other side's always going to do its homework. You know, is there labor disruptions here unparalleled compared to many other parts of the world? Are there issues here around the permitting reform? Do we have courts that tie us up for 20 years? These are the things that we've got to get out of our own way on. And again, you can't blame an American on that one. It's on us to do it.
Got to live there, Goldy. Great as always. Thanks for this.
Thanks for having me.
Goldy Hyder, President of the Business Council of Canada.